AZ Australia Diecast Salvage Channel. Today we are working on a couple of GAMA Mini Mercedes 350 SE. Come along for a journey as we head over to the workbench, my workbench, and we'll do something with these. So I'll meet you over at the workbench. See you shortly. So here we are with our, let's see if I'm holding it the right way. No, I'm not. With a GAMA Mini Mercedes-Benz 350 SE. This green one is made in Hong Kong. The red one is made in Singapore. This, by the looks of things, only has one screw in the base. This particular one has reasonable tyres. Does have suspension. It has opening doors which are a bit loose. It does have both seat backs inside. The bonus part is it still has the emblem. It's a bit loose, so we need to stiffen that up. Boot doesn't open, but the bonnet does as well, and it has a little engine in it. So, glass is in quite good condition, so we don't need to replace it, and we don't need to make a new one. But what we'll be doing is detailing the wiper blades, which are cast in there, and the mirror. So that's that one. This one here is a little bit worse for wear, as you just saw the grille just fall off. The top emblem is missing from it, so we may make a copy of, excuse me, excuse me for sneezing there. So we may make a copy of the grille from this one to make the grille from there. It is missing a headlight, but we can make one of those. Why they've got them in green, I don't know, but we may make, excuse me, bit of hay fever. Why they've made them a coloured headlight, I don't know, but we shall make some new ones. We'll use these ones to make a mould, and we'll probably make 4 of them to make them clear, as opposed to having them coloured. Front bumper is intact. It's missing rubbers from the tyres. Doors open on this one, of course, as well, like the other one. It does have both its seat backs in there, which is nice. Doors are loose. No engine. So we'll need to make a copy from the green one. The rear bumper is intact. 2 different types of taillights. So, has someone been here before, I wonder? Could be, because we've got different types of taillights. This one is smooth. This one is ribbed. So let's have a look at the ones on the green one. The ones on the green are both ribbed. So we may need to make up moulds of the tail lights. So anyway, next part is pulling these apart. I'll do one on camera and the other one I'll do off camera because they're both the same way. But before we do, just let's have a look at the base of this one. As you can see, here it says made in Singapore, where the green one says made in Hong Kong. Hello. Can you spot another difference in the base? I hear you shouting. Very good, well done. This has a couple of extra screws in it, where this one doesn't. This one has the centre one may have been on a plinth, so that could be the screw for it. So, alright, so what we'll do is, since this one's got more screws in it, let's take this one apart and see what happens. By comparing it with the other one, by looks of things, what's holding together is actually the front one. So, I'll get myself ready with some tools and we'll come back and we'll start taking this apart. Alright, disassemble time. So, this one has a flathead screw in the front, where the other one has a Phillips head, or a J nut, I think you call it, on it. So, I think someone's been here before. So, let's see what we do. Screws out. Let me get my safety bin. We'll put the screw in there. And okay, the base is only held in by the front screw. I was right. Someone has been here before. I don't think that is the right suspension for it. So someone was very smart and found another way of putting in a suspension. But the back suspension doesn't work so well. But in any case, let's pull it apart and see what happens. Alright, so again, if I can get fumble fingers, say hello to fumble fingers. If I can get fumble fingers to work properly, well, you see, when you pay peanuts, you get monkeys, don't you? So fumble fingers says he's not a monkey. Oh well, we'll give him something to eat and drink later. All right, so there's the front axle out. It's not bent, it just needs new rubbers. There's a joke in there, Joyce. You need some rubbers. I'm just intending to do a wheel swap on this. But what we'll do is, we may use this suspension again. We may not. So what we'll do is we'll keep these parts anyway. We'll just put it all together. So that way, and we've got loose tongue here as well. Or is it loose teeth? No, it's loose tongue, because you can't spit it out. So we've got we've got other members. We've got Fumble Fingers and Loose Tongue with us today. All right, so that's done the same way, and like a nut and bolt type system on here. So there's the nut, just like me, a bit nutty, but there's the rear axle out. We'll put that in the parts bin, and we'll have a closer look as to what they actually use. Now I will, yes, I'll tell you I've had this vehicle apart once before, and if you watched my previous see, there's that tongue. If you watched a previous episode of the Tomica Dandy Caravan, or Nissan Irvan in Australia, if you watched that video, that's where I got the inspiration from to make the pivot point for the hinge. And what they used, excuse me, while Fumble Fingers tries to play with his nuts. There's a joke in there, Joyce. Got to play with the nuts. Maybe that, yes, or maybe it's a bit offended they're not peanuts or roasted nuts. Anyway, we'll put that in the parts bin. That we can put to one side. We'll put the grill in the bin, in the parts bin. Now, what I was saying before was that bit of suspension was made from a small one of these types of clips, which was the inspiration of me making the pivot point of using this part here as a hinge point for that Tomica Dandy Caravan when I had to make the new hinges for the tailgate. Anyway, rambling on. Let's try and stop the rambling. Let's keep going. As my mate Pete from PB's Retro Restorations would say, let's get crack-a-lacking. Alright, so the interior. Where are my tools? So the interior. Just be careful. All I'm doing is pushing down on the front seat a little bit. There's the interior and the screen. Okay, the only mark that I'm seeing on the screen is in that bottom corner there. But as we saw on the intro, we didn't see it on the outside. Let's just do a double check. No, so you don't see it. So we can keep that screen. We'll do a clean up of it. There's no major scratches in it. There's a little one in the hold it in screen, Fumble Fingers. There is a little scratch in there, but that may buff out. But otherwise the screen is intact. It's not broken. So we'll do a clean up of that. Here's the interior, which needs a major clean. And it's got an awfully big steering wheel. But the thing is, if we can get that steering wheel out when we clean it, I'll make some moulds and do some casting of that, because I know I have some other videos. We have slippery tongue, so we'll there you go. The steering wheel has come out. Excellent, excellent. So we'll stick that in there so we don't lose it. We'll make a mould of that steering wheel so we can do some other castings of it to go into other vehicles. Anyway, that needs a major wash. So what's left? We have our bumpers, and they have small pegs on them, locating pins, which will bring it into these holes here. The front grille had 2 broken points, that's why that fell out. So can we get to the steering, to the headlights? Boy, Loose Lips is having a few problems today. So all I'm doing is just getting my scalpel just underneath the headlight that just popped out. So it has a little locating pin on the back. I'll stick that in there. And of course the other one's already missing. So can we take, well, before we go try and take the bumpers, Loose Lips, shut up. Let's put our proper tongue in and keep disassembling. So the rear bumper will have 2 locating pins, which are just here and here. So we'll see if we can't give them a bit of a push. And as you can see, it has come forward. And as we just saw, the tail lights just fell out. That's nice of them. There's our rear bumper. So the rear bumpers are intact. Yeah, the tail light, the smooth tail light has been replaced because that's got glue on the back of it. Where the other one, with the same tail lights which are on the green one, has the locating pin. So, as I've said in other videos, let's put these in the parts bucket so we don't lose them. I've said in other videos, I don't generally like to take the doors off because when you paint vehicles with opening parts, and if you're using, you know, sort of, let's say, candy colours and things like that, if you paint them off the vehicle, you get a slightly different colour match to them. So these door hinges are located or sandwiched in between here. And the bonnet is hinged, but you can't push it out. So I'll do a little bit more inspection off camera. I will play around a little bit to see if I can get this part out, because that's the part that also holds the engine in place. So I will need to get the bonnet off. So I'll do that off camera. So I shall see you guys shortly and to give you an update. Well, Fumble Fingers did it again, didn't you? Eh? Naughty boy, naughty boy. Why was he a naughty boy? Well, when we were pulling this one apart, or disassembling this one, and we got to the removing the most important headlight, the whole thing went ping, and it shot somewhere, never to be seen again. So it would have been better if it was the lit that side. Wouldn't have been a problem because we had that one. It's the one that was missing that's gone. Missing again? Anyway, I've gone through the wrecking yard. Not in there, not in the boat. And it's not anywhere over there. And I have swept up the floor. So it may be in one of the cubby holes here or over there. I don't know. But I'm sure once we finish this project, it will be found. And in the meantime, I'm sure I can make something up for that. So, always got to think outside the box. And of course, thinking out before we go a bit. Oh dear, loose tongues here as well. Before we go on any further, this is what I've done with the base. All I've done is just use the scourer pad just to highlight the base of both of these vehicles, because there's a nice amount of detailing on there. So instead of having to try and paint it, we'll let the casting do it, manufacturers. So all I've done is given these wheels a bit of a wash, and here is the suspension. This is from the Hong Kong. Is it the Hong Kong or is it the Singapore? Hong Kong. That plastic suspension. So that's fine. So we'll tuck that base away. Now for this one, I was thinking of not that piece. And Michael, not that piece. Try these pieces. Now, if you have an old wiper blade on your car, yeah, a wiper blade, just where the rubber joins the arm itself, or the piece that attaches to the arm, there's a metal piece. So I've cut that down to size, and what I'm thinking of doing is either gluing them down, or I've just had another thought, thinking outside the box, not having the glue, but again to use what they used on this red one of these clips, and it says, well, yes, it will breach it. It will breech the two, screw it down like the previous owner of this one had done, and we'll call it good. Anyway, I'll do that off camera. I do have a set of wheels for it, and we'll go from there. So I might just do that next. I'll give you an update as to when that is done. Catch you in a moment. So I'm bringing you guys up to date. Here are the two springs from the old windshield wipers that I've cut down the size. In the centre is the old clip like this one that we broke in half. We drilled a hole down the centre, so we're using the mounting screw down there, and now we have working suspension. We'll temporarily put it in the car. Fits like a glove. So we are rolling just like that one. So that's the base out the way. So next comes, you know where we're going, I'm sure. So we'll see you at the venue. So our stripper, Cossack soda's ready. Our participants are ready. And let's see if we can get some hot water in. And hopefully we won't overflow like we did in a previous episode. So paint is coming off. And I shall leave enough water there. We'll come back to some naked cars. Okay, to get these cars to shiny status, I usually use a brass bristle brush along with a steel wool scourer, but of late I've been using brass bristles on the cordless drill. Mind blank. These I've got it bad today. Got a loose mouth. We've got fumble fingers, and yeah. All right, but for those that have first time to the channel or are just starting out, this is why I show these steps, because even though I've been on YouTube for the past 3 years, the anniversary is coming up, 3 years, I don't know when somebody new comes to the channel. You know, somebody new that's wanting to do this sort of stuff. So I'm just keeping these steps in, hence why my videos run for 20 minutes plus. But in any case, I also ramble. But this is what we do. We just use just to get rid of the burnishing. I'll just do half of this car so that you can see where we're getting at. I'll do what Juan used to do on die-cast Resurrection. He just did half the car to show you. Now some people will use the wire brush on a Dremel tool, Just be careful, the Chinese ones, the bristles go all over the place. You can see a difference already by just using the brush. And then what I do is, once I've done that, I go over with this. Some people will use steel wool. It's going to be entirely up to you. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. It's whatever works for you. I've tried different methods. And yes, I started off, with by using the steel wool. But you'll find the steel wool gets a little bit messy. But I did take a tip from a YouTuber. When you're using the steel wool with the mess, keep it. Put it away. Because if you're doing a weathering by putting it into some vinegar and then sticking it onto your car, you get the rust effect. But in any case, there you see how this side is nice and shiny, and this side is still tarnished. And that didn't take long. That's taken all of 4 minutes. And I'll do the rest off camera. So we'll get ready for some paint or primer. Both cars are now shiny. And really, they sort of look too good to be repainted, but they will be. Now you'll see the difference between the two is this one was done completely with the brass brush, and that, where this one was done with the cordless drill and the brass wheel, and gone over with this. Now the main difference that's going to be between the two is how the paint holds. Now, the paint will hold better with the one that I use the cordless drill with the wheel on it, because you can see those little scratches in there. That's what the paint will hold on to. Where with the really smooth, there's nothing for the paint to hold on to. It all depends on your primer. And that sound that you're hearing in the back is the alarm for my lunch. So I'm going to have my lunch. You can have yours or your dinner or whatever you're doing at this point in time. And next, may actually use the poor man's wash machine to clean the interior. So it'll be a little while for me. It'll be just a millisecond for you. Alright, so the interiors and the windscreens have been through the poor man's wash machine. Thank you, Nick. So that's all nice and clean. Don't lose it, fumble fingers. So we'll put them away. Now these seats can slide and can come out, which I didn't know beforehand. But anyway, so that's all there. This one's been glued, because if you have a look here, one of the tabs is broken. That was done by the previous owner. But that's the one that we took the steering wheel out, that we need to make a mould of. We'll get to that shortly. Now here are our screens. Now I didn't have to do any rubbing back or anything like that. So what I'm going to use now is the Long Life self-shining floor polish. Some people know it as Pledge. It's the same product as pledge. So we're just going to do I've poured it into a jar, so we're going to drop it in. We'll put it on the thing for it to be absorbed. Get you back into focus again. Let's see if I can do it left-handed. Again, we just drop it in. We shall put it on there for it to dribble off. We shall close this jar. Now we'll put it into, so I don't drop it, into one of the handy dandy shelf. And put that aside. And let's just move this around a little bit. See, we've got fumble fingers fumbling about again. Come on, Mr. Fumble Fingers. Do it properly. There we go. So that we can now just make sure it's clean. So that we can now put a cover over it. We can put that to one side and let that dry, so that we can then go back and concentrate on these. So I'm going to look into my paint cupboard to see what colours I've got. So I'll bring you back after I've done the priming, and then we'll paint one of the vehicles with a colour, and then the other one I'll show you at the reveal. Hopefully you'll see this colour go on. It's a homebrew mix of colour. The colour that I wanted was for another project that didn't come out. So we're still going to use it up. Won't go to waste. Come on up. Up we go. Okay, don't go up then. We do have tennis running in the background, and we have a fan and commentating on the players. ladies and gentlemen, I shall leave that one at this stage, and I will finish off the other one in a different colour, and then it's reveal time. So, see you at the unveiling. Well, the two Mercedes 350 SEs are baking away in the oven for their paint. In the pot here have 2 used sticks of the reusable plastic. These ones I'd use to make the doors on the Matchbox VW campers. So now we need to make copies for here. So into the pot goes some boiling water. So we need to let that heat up. So that it can be reusable. Lots of people know that product as Blue Stuff from Green Stuff World. What I've got here was some cheap stuff that I bought from eBay. It doesn't need to be in the water for a great length of time. I'm just using the tweezers to get it out. So that's what it does to the reusable plastic. Makes it like a plasticine. And all you're going to do is press it over the item you need to make a copy of. It's a lot easier than using silicone. I could, or just put that back in the hot water again, or to reheat the amazing remelt. I could use that, but then I'd have to create another box. Again, this is just, that water is hot. Well, that's usually what happens when you're using boiling water, Michael. It's gonna be hot. So again, it's all just making a usable area, and we're just going to press it down over it. While it's still workable, we just go down over it. That's better. See, fumble fingers, that's how you do it. That's that one. Now we have the grill to do. Let's see if we can't pick up that clear one again. There we go. So we don't need all of it. Just like a chewing gum consistency at the moment. Of course, we want to preserve that emblem. Got a flat base on that side. We'll just bring that one over. Just want to make sure that we've got a reasonable sort of base, so that when it is on the opposite side, that we sit relatively flat. So those two are just about ready. The piece is cooling down. Now we've still got to do a steering wheel. steering wheel is for future projects. You're hiding that pair of tweezers on me. Oh, excuse me. Alright, so this we're going to do slightly different in that we're going to put that base there, and then we're going to press that into it. Just make sure that the sides go up a little bit. Alright, so we'll let that go off. I will put, where did I put the container? There it is. There's other stuff here that we didn't use. I'll put back into its little container. Like I said, what I bought was from eBay. When you're storing it again, just make it thin, or because it takes a little while for that to go through, but if it's thin, you can use it fairly quickly, even if it's a tube like that. So that way it can be used again and again and again and again. You can make two-part moulds with this stuff. That's the beauty of it. And we'll put that aside. I'll bring you back when we're ready to do some casting. Okay, fumble fingers, time to protect you a little bit, because we're going to use a two-part resin, part A and part B. We've decanted it out already, equal amounts. This is going to be our mixing jar. Here are the two items we need, the engine and the grill. These items in the background here are for the wastage, because there's no way of measuring the exact amount of A and B that you need for that amount. So there's wastage in doing this. Not much we can do about it. Just be careful not to get it on the skin, because otherwise you'll be using antihistamines or sort of allergic tablets to so you don't get a rash. We'll just put it in there and close the lids on the my little containers here that I have marked A and B. Now we give a little swishy swish stir so that it's thoroughly mixed. And the idea also of the plate is to curb the mess. So all we're going to do now is pour, and this is why I gave it the flat, was to so we'll keep it as flat as possible. And what I'm pouring into now, can't have enough of, and then we just tip that last lot into there. So now we need to wait for Need to close the lid on this one. Have I got it the right way? I don't know. That's better. So we can keep this as flat as possible. That would be good. If it runs over the edges a little bit, that's not going to hurt it either, because that will then thin out in like flashing. Here we go. I'll just do that one. All right, I'll bring you back when these have turned white. So we'll catch you in a moment. No sooner had I turned you off, I turn everybody off, but this is starting to do its chemical reaction. As you can see, it's white or turning white. There is some heat involved. This one here will take a little bit longer because it's a lot thinner and a lot smaller, hence why there is wastage in this. But yeah, all right. Again, just wanted to show you how quickly the thermal reaction takes. And here we're starting. This one has started now. So that, I know I'm rambling, but the idea is to hopefully keep you occupied while you're watching what's happening in front of you on the screen. Now that we're almost at the edges, I'm going to give it a little while longer for it to cure and set, because it still needs to go hard. There are other things that need to go hard. There's a joke in there, Joyce, somewhere, so that we can then do what we need to do with it. So I'll bring you back at the demoulding stage. Going by the grill for the Matchbox Ford pickup, which is always one of the things that I make, for the simple reason that that grill is usually always missing, so that whenever I get one in, I have a ready-made grill. So going by that, we should be ready to demould this, or take this out of the mould. So careful, fumble fingers. Somebody sent me a message. So who swallowed that? I'll get this orientated the same way. Let's come on, fumble fingers. So with some cleaning up of the flashing, that's my landlady telling me that she's made me a nice cup of coffee. Isn't she nice? I like her for that. That was that's the engine, and now comes the grill. And if I'm careful, now I'm just going to cut it, the flashing, but there's the grill. Come on, fumble fingers. Fumble fingers. Wake up. there we have our grill. Okay, and that still needs to be tidied up. I'll bring you back when I've done that and I've had my coffee. So, for you, it'll be a millisecond. For me, it might be about 10-15 minutes. See you soon. Okay. We now have 2 engines. And we now have, if I get my camera right, 2 grills with emblems. So, I'm going to reassemble the vehicles for the reveal. So, see you at the reveal. Here is a reminder as to what we started with. A GAMA Mini Mercedes-Benz 350 SE. One was made in Singapore, the other was made in Hong Kong. And here we are. Now, here are the reveal of the GAMA Mini Mercedes-Benz 350 SE. One was made in Singapore, the other was made in Hong Kong. So, interesting build this one. You note one of them had a missing headlight, then Fumble Fingers came along and flipped the other headlight that we were going to make a mould of away, so that didn't happen. So we've made new sets of headlights for both vehicles, both sides, and we used UV resin for that. We've, what else have we done? Of course, we've stripped them, we've repainted them. We've given this one a wheel swap. The simple reason was missing the rubber boots for its original tyres. And I've given them, the paint jobs I've given them, this one is the higher end version of Mercedes-Benz, and this one here as a base model, very old cheapo, no frills or anything like that. I hope you enjoyed this little video. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time. For Graves in Australia, like our salvage.